Our next speaker is Ms. Shinaria Ashley, and she is the Vice President for Small Business Development Office for the BB&T Bank in the region. Also, actually, one of the questions you asked to Bill, I wanted to address in terms of some employee benefits and wages. There are some policies in Montgomery County as well as Maryland State or other federal government. When you do government entity contracts, you often are required to pay your employees a certain wage that is higher than the minimum wage. It is called the Wage Requirements Law or Living Wage Law. In Montgomery County, that rate this year is $14.35 per hour. So if you are providing services contracts for Montgomery County contracts, then those workers who work on the Montgomery County contracts need to be paid more than $14.35 per hour. And also there are quite a few legislations recently passed about health insurance providing and other benefits that employers are eventually will be required to provide to the employees. Right now it's not a requirement yet, but we're definitely gathering data through the payroll reports that we receive. And we want to find out how many employers are actually providing health insurance for their employees. So this is definitely a trend. So I'm sure some of the help that you can get from Bill's organization can give you more insight on benefits, payroll, and all those employees' development. Okay, so Ms. Ashley.
Thank you. And Bill, how did you navigate this so I can try to see if I get a head start? Is it the down? Okay, so this is definitely a little smaller than I wanted you to see. So can I go to the next flyer and just have that one up? How do you do that?
It's a different file?
Yeah, let's move to the next one. Yep. Nope. Nope. Yes.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See if that one shows up a little.
Looks like, oops.
I made it back up that far. It's okay. And I'll start talking while Grace is doing that.
Sure.
My name is Shinaria Ashley, and I am a Small Business Development Officer for the Greater Washington region. How many of you are familiar with BB&T Bank? Wow. Okay, so this is going to be a good audience because I'm amongst friends, so that works for me. I know we started a little behind, so what I want to do is be very efficient with the time that I have with you because I know that as business owners, you're very, very busy. So how many of you have been in business for at least 6 months? Okay, 6 years? And how many of you are just interested in starting a business? All right, I have something for everyone. So BB&T Bank has been around since 1872. That's perfect, Grace. Thank you. So that's over 140 plus years of providing economic success and financial security to our clients and communities. Since you are familiar with BB&T Bank, you know that we are a large southern regional bank. And I actually read this morning that we're one of the 5th largest banks in the United States. So we are growing and we will continue to grow. We just purchased Susquehanna Bank. So we're at the tip of New Jersey, all the way down to the Florida Keys. We purchased some branches in Texas from Citibank so we can have a broader, brick and mortar base. But we're growing. Our vision at BB&T is to be the best of the best, and this is why I love my job. We noticed that we had a huge opportunity to really be a resource for the small business owner. You're busy. You probably work from 9 to 9. When do you have time to really go into a branch and say, hey, this is what I need? And maybe you're talking about GSA schedules or procurement, and the branch manager is like this. Let me see what I can do. So my position was created so that I could work for you. I've been with the bank for about 10 years. Started when I was 12. But have been in this position for about 6 months, and I love it because I get to go out, ask questions, attend these meetings with you, and then go back and tell the bank what you need to meet your growth goals. So today what I thought I would do is go over a couple of different things. But let me tell you how we do business. Everybody at BB&T that has one of these silver badges, our BB&T card, we have a very solid service commitment. We want everyone that we come in contact with to have the perfect client experience. So that means that we're going to be reliable, responsive, empathetic, competent, and it's not a campaign for us. It's how we do business. So you can be assured today that when you talk to me, and I have 2 colleagues here with me, we're going to help you talk about those goals and help you meet them. So I have 3 goals that I want to cover with you today. The first one is I want to help you, and I have a note sheet here because I drank a cup of coffee and I'll talk up here till like 2 o'clock. I want to stay focused. But I want to help you accelerate your receivables. That's a concern for me because if you are in the government contracting space, then you're waiting for payments. You have things that need to go out. You have payroll. You have insurance. So how can I help you accelerate those receivables and get those in your account? The second one is control and extend payables. You're paying insurance, you're paying payroll, you're paying this, you're paying that. You forget to pay yourself, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I want to help you control and extend those payables. The last is leverage credit. And I have a colleague here, Jean, that's going to talk about some things a little bit later. But I am going to tell you what we look for from a banking perspective. I'm going to give you all the secrets. So have your notes out. I do have some information, some flyers that we'll put out on the table when I'm done. But I'm going to give you the inside and outs of the bank. Now with BB&T, we help you in 5 key areas. And when you meet with me, because I do small business development, I do an overall comprehensive financial review. So I go over business deposit to make sure that you're managing your money correctly. I do employee benefits, so I'm going to speak on that. Thank you for that question. I'm going to tell you what we look for from a credit perspective, and I will say often, all lines of loans are subject to credit approval because I love my job at BB&T. I'm going to talk about insurance because that's important, but I will tell you I'm not licensed to sell insurance, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. And at the end of the presentation today, we're going to invite you to have a one-on-one consultation. It's complimentary because you came here today, and I'll set you up with a rep so you can get a quote and go through that. And then we'll talk about personal financial needs because you will see your personal finances go hand in hand with your businesses. I meet a lot of business owners and they say, well, why do you need to look at my personal stuff? That's separate. The business is doing well. No, ma'am, or sir. They are parallel. And that's how we look at it from a banking perspective. Now, business money management. We do business checking accounts. We do savings accounts. We really encourage the savings accounts piece because they say, and I don't know who they is, but they say you should have at least 6 months of expenses in a savings account in order to be really successful. So give me some eye contact if you already have your 6 months. Okay, so I know who has it, and the ones who didn't look at me, I know. It's okay, I'm still working on it too. But when you meet with me, I want to come up with ways to save you money. So I'm going to review your merchant. If you have a merchant account and you're taking payments through your website, or if you have something that's connected to your phone, or however you're receiving those receivables, I want to make sure that you're in the best position to take that extra amount and put in a savings account so we can start to build that out for you. We do small business online, and to be honest with you, small business online is similar no matter where you go, but with BB&T, we want to help you just do it better. So we have bill pay, you have where you can take pictures of your checks and have it deposited, because I know you guys hardly make it to the bank in time before it closes. But our whole business money management is designed to help you do banking better. So that's a resource we have for you. We do employee benefits. So she mentioned employee benefits. We have a whole suite of products that are out and available to you. One I'll talk a little bit about. How many of you have at least 5 employees for your company? All right. When you get to 49 and a half, and I don't know what a half employee looks like, but you're going to want to talk to me because there's something called ACA. And you are required, and I think Grace spoke a little bit about this, to give these employees, this employee base, once you get over 50, different types of insurances and stuff. So we do have an insurance department, but even beyond that, we have a financial wellness program. So the economy is doing what it's doing. You're trying to retain these highly skilled individuals, trying to retain your workforce. We have a financial wellness program that we call BB&T at Work, where we have representatives that will come on site, talk to your employees, help them with their auto and merchant and mortgage, whatever they may have in their personal life, and it's an added benefit for working with you. That comes with your business relationship with BB&T. So that's something I strongly recommend if you have an employee base, because now you get to keep them and they're stickier because they know that you're giving them a financial wellness benefit. In addition to that, we encourage direct deposit. I mean, this area is famous for our snowstorms that just shut down the Beltway. And if someone is due payment, if we can get everyone on direct deposit, it sometimes works better. And I know when I meet some of my contractors who do a lot of the labor and construction work, that's an issue. Getting people to actually say, okay, I'll go ahead and sign up for a direct deposit. So let the BB&T at Work people do that. They come out, they do financial seminars for your team around mortgage, budgeting, and savings. And it's really something nice that they can have to say that, you know, they work for you. Now, lending, this is where it's going to get a little tricky, because I pull the secrets from the bank, because I want you to know. Like, when you do well, then I do well. You use banking services. I keep my 401k. So this is how you position yourself for a loan for a bank. But let me back up a little bit and tell you what we offer. We lend rolling stock, so that's like vehicles, trucks, cars, boats. We do equipment, so that's that toe laser that the podiatrist uses, or a dental chair, we do that. Real estate, owner-occupied, non-owner-occupied, unsecured, accounts receivable, construction loans, farmland, and we do government contract financing. So all of those are available to you at BB&T Bank. There's so many different types though. I recommend that you talk to me one-on-one, and then we see how we structure that best for you. Now, these are the bank requirements. We require at least 2 years of business and personal tax returns. You have to have them. You also need to make sure you have a profit and loss statement, because that's going to give us an idea of what your projections look like, your revenues and expenses look like. Now, some of you mentioned when I asked in the beginning, you know, are you starting, where are you in your business? There's different organizations like SCORE, where they're retired executives, where you can meet with them, and they will take care of helping you create your financials. But I strongly recommend that you find a really good CPA, because from a banker's eyes and standpoint, we look at the professionalism of your documents when you're turning in those profit and loss statements, that banker's bank statement, income statement. We look at how it's prepared. It makes a difference. Now, in addition to that, we do require the business owner to be the personal guarantor. And this is what I mentioned at the beginning. There is a strong correlation. There's a lot of data, and I don't have that today with me. But if there's someone on the personal side that pays their debt on time, they have credit, they use it wisely, it kind of mirrors what they do on the business side. And it goes hand in hand. So you have to make sure that you have a healthy personal credit and financial characteristics and stuff, so that it aligns with the business. But because I've been in business development for this time, this is what I run into, and you can look at me and tell me if this sounds familiar. You wanted to start a business. You started the business. You may have used your reserves, your savings, credit, and by the time the business keeps going, your personal side has been a little neglected. That happens, and we get it. So what we do at our bank, and you should ask your bank to do this too, is have a personal review as well. Because we want to get you back up to match that business, because you have to be the personal guarantor for most of your loans. You have to show that you have a solid form of repayment. You have to show that. And so this is interesting, because we're getting ready to get into tax season. I'll meet business owners, and it's time to look at their financials, and they're sliding me their financials, and they're like, yeah, it was a tough year. They're showing that they made $10,000 for the whole year. And I get it. And there's good CPAs out there. But if I cannot see your income, I can't loan you anything. So it's making sure that you have a banker that explains these things to you, talks to you about different ratios, talks to you about what the financials should look like, so that you put yourself in a position to get that loan. 5 main things, and I'll say 5 because at BB&T we added one. We look at when we're underwriting a loan. Character, which is basically your personal and business credit. We look at collateral. So what equipment, real estate do you have that can secure that loan? Capacity, your ability to repay that loan, very important. And capital. What's the second source of repayment? we really look for at least around a 20% down payment towards a huge loan. That number could vary based on your situation and industry, but it's about 20%. What I will tell you, another reason why I love BB&T Bank is because the past 45 days, I've been an advocate for you. And now at our bank, we do have something in place that kind of negates everything I just shared with you. We have a business line of credit where if you have a healthy credit score and you have a solid form of repayment, those are the two things that we look at in order to give you a line up to $50,000. So if you have a healthy credit score, north 680, and you have profit revenues coming in, talk to me after this, because this product is 45 days old and it's available to business owners and especially for government contractors. So that's something we have. The fifth is condition. I told you I had 5. So character, collateral, capacity, capital, and condition. What is the economy doing? What does that look like? And that product that I shared with you was something that we created because of the condition. There's a lot of really good and successful businesses that need access to capital. They have great credit scores, but maybe they don't have the 2 years. Maybe they only have the 1 year, but they have a profit and loss statement that is healthy, and they have a solid form of repayment. We want to make sure that we are creating products and services that are available to you. Now, these are the pitfalls. These are all the mistakes that I've found so far that I'm going to tell you about. So on this page on your note sheet, put no, because this is everything that you should not do, okay? Or this is things you should avoid. Make sure you have a business plan. My fellow colleague here mentioned that, but it is so important. Sometimes the thing that makes or breaks the decision for us to lend to you is how well your plan is. And if you've been in business for a while, when is the last time that you took a look at that plan? The economy has changed. Maybe your personnel has changed. The SBDC Center is great. It's complimentary. They will sit down and do a plan for you. If you have something already in place, they will go and help you review that. That plan is very important. And it's simple, and it's really a roadmap to how you're going to do your business. And I think it kind of mirrors your capability statement. You have to have it. It's very important. It's time-consuming, but it's like the Bible of your business, and it's very important. So make sure you have a plan. Have a good working relationship with your banker, not an order taker. So you need a banker that's going to be an advocate for you. Do you know your banker's name? Are they a Redskins fan? If not, then don't do it. No, sorry, I'm just a little heartbroken. The season is tough. What's the mission of the bank? Does that mission fall in line with your business mission, your company's mission, your personal mission? Why invest your dream, everything that you've put together, into a bank that is completely different from what you have? And these things matter, because when it comes to underwriting loans and getting access to services, we put comments. And we can put the mission of this company is to do this, they have done this, this is the situation. Make sure your missions are in line, and that just makes your job easier as well. This is a good one. A pitfall is not taking advantage of credit when business is good. It is a heartbreaking day when I meet a client and they need a loan yesterday, and things have changed and I can't give it to them. So when you have a good financials and you're rocking and rolling, I know you're like, well, yeah, I don't want to touch the loan. I'm doing well. I have my cash. But cash is king. Keep your cash in the bank. Get a line of credit or a Visa to help fund those little things, because you never know when you need it. So get the loan before you need the loan. That is so important. Also, line of credit, because the line of credit is something that you typically don't pay unless you use it. So little things. Some of you may have transportation to get here today. That's a business visa expense. That's travel. Maybe you're taking a potential project manager or something to a lunch. That's a swipe. Keep your cash in the bank and do everything with the business separate from that, and utilize that line of credit and that loan. Another pitfall, not having a good CPA. You really need a CPA that specializes in small business. If you're going to a place where the building is twice this size, I'm just going to jump out there and say you're probably at the wrong CPA. You need a CPA that's going to be up late with you, looking at your financials, looking at the fees you pay a merchant and saying, wow, that's 30% of your profit. What can we do about that? Or someone that's looking at your insurance and saying, you know what, that has increased 5% each quarter. Let's see what we can do. Look for a CPA. And as a business developer, I work for you. BB&T is already a business. But in my role, I have CPAs that I work with that are small business friendly. I've taken them through my interview process and I trust them. I have attorneys, I have partners. Make sure you see me if these are some of the things that you need after this. Now, we do have alternative financing options, and we'll talk about that a little later with my colleague. But from personal experience, I do want to share with you one organization that I really, really like, and that's the Maryland Casino Business Investment Fund. So it's the Maryland Casino Business Investment Fund. You can Google them and go online, but this is why I really like this organization. I had a client who went through what I call family reorganization, better known as divorce. And so their financials were not what they were supposed to be because of the things that happened with the house. But, he was a government contractor, he was working hard, he was doing well, and every bank, unfortunately, we couldn't do anything with it. So I called the Maryland Fund, and they were able, and yes, there's some other things that go into there, you guys have to work with them directly, but I will tell you, I have seen them offer credit. This particular client got a line of $100,000 by working with them, and he had stuff on his report, and it had nothing to do with the business, everything to do with the personal, but they're able to do that second look. So if I said anything this morning that discouraged you, like, I'm never going to get a loan, think about this, and then think about my partner who will come up in a little bit. Time. Okay, let me breeze through this. Okay. I put this on here again because I want to keep my job. All loans are subject to credit review and availability. So make sure you remember that. But let's talk about personal financial needs. So we do help with personal financial needs. We do debt consolidation. So if you have a lot of different things everywhere, we can sit down and talk with you about that. We refinance auto. We are the best when it comes to mortgage. But we help in these 5 different areas, the biggest one being insurance. BB&T is the 5th largest insurance brokerage. Our insurance business is bigger than our banking business, and it spreads throughout the whole United States. So we do commercial property, workman's comp, general commercial liability, surety and bonding, business auto, group health plan, errors and omissions. I could name them all. We do it, and we do it really well. So when I meet my clients, there's 2 ways that we review this area. If you already have a declaration, email it to me. It costs you nothing for me to have one of my insurance representatives look at it and make sure you're in the best place. That's the first thing we can do. Or maybe you're starting and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to have. Talk to me too, because we'll go on the phone, you'll explain that capability statement is really important, but these are the services that I provide. What insurance do I need? And that's a 30 to 40 minute conversation that I can have with you to make sure that you are properly covered when it comes to the insurance piece. Let's see, we do subdivision bonds, contract services. The list goes on and on and on. So what I told Grace is that because you attended the session today, I am offering, and I have a sign-up sheet because I know you're really busy. Make sure I get your name and your phone number if you're interested in an insurance review. It takes 20 to 30 minutes. It's complimentary because you came here. But make sure I get your information so we can cover you in that area. We do all different types, and we do it on the personal side as well, so we can look at all those things together. My 3 goals with it today was to help you accelerate your receivables, control your payables, and leverage credit. So I've given you a piece of some of those different things. If you want a complimentary review, we do that too. So maybe you are happy where you're banking, the credit union has been great to you. That's great because I bank with the credit union too. Don't tell the BB&T people that are here. But let me look at it. Let me make sure that your account, you're not paying a $25 monthly maintenance fee. Or if your merchant fees are 30% of your profit, let's have a conversation. But we'll be happy to just look at those different things for you. And I have sign-up sheets, and I'm going to be here too so that we can schedule time so we can talk about that in more detail. Yes?
Do you have minimum monthly minimums? For convenience.
Say that 3 times. Our business checking accounts fit all different types of industries. So my goal is to keep your cash in the bank. So I set you up with an account that meets what you typically keep in there, and then that avoids the maintenance fee. So we'll match it up with you. Someone asked about interest. Is that your question?
No.
Okay.
The answer to your question is yes. His question was yes.
Right.
Okay.
No. So here's the dilemma I'm in.
Okay.
So I met with my credit union. They're wonderful. They're in Pennsylvania. Been doing business with them forever. It's great. Personal side is good. They suggested I take my business to a bank because we're growing. I did that, and I hate the bank.
Oh.
Not BB&T per se.
Can you say that one more time? No.
But what I found is they don't operate the same. Minimum monthly fees and things of that nature. As we're growing, you know, when I turn my back, I don't want the bank to be taking the money out of my pocket.
I understand.
As we're growing. So,
Because you shared more with me, I'll be more direct with your answer. So we have a business value 200 account is what I start all my businesses with. If you keep at least $1,500 in there every month, it avoids a $12 fee. The money does not have to stay in the account because you have to pay bills and stuff. But as long as that balance hits $1,500 once a month, then that waives the fee. It also comes with a debit card, an opportunity to apply for our credit card, online banking, checks, and it gives you a personal account as well, our BB&T, our Work Relief account. So we have a really nice small business package for you.
sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Questions? Okay. So I know banking is intimate, so I'll be around and you can ask me your questions one-on-one. Thank you so much for your time this morning. And Grace, thank you so much for giving BB&T the opportunity to present.
Thank you.